Parkersburg police detectives have filed charges against two individuals in Parkersburg related to theft, forgery, and uttering. William Donald Spellman, 34 of Parkersburg, and Jimmy Denise Carter, 30 of Parkersburg, have been taken into custody. In early October, detectives received complaints in the southern part of Wood County, mainly the Washington area, of checks being stolen from their mailboxes and individuals attempting to cash those checks at various banks in Parkersburg. Spellman turned himself into detectives on October 22, 2024, and he was charged with 2 counts of forgery and uttering. His bail was set at $5,000. Which he did not post, and is currently being held at the North Central Regional Jail. Carter has been charged with 3 counts of forgery and uttering and is currently in the Washington County, Ohio jail on unrelated charges awaiting extradition back to West Virginia. And this investigation is still ongoing at this time.